But there's also all kinds of great announcements and movement in our hobby from a manufacturer side that we definitely need to talk about. So
Yes.
maybe we should jump into that. You already brought up the Minelab Manticore, which you've ordered,
I
and
ordered.
they've
I'm on the
started
list.
shipping.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'm ready for that to get here. And then what happened? What was that? 2 weeks ago?
Right. Yeah, like a couple of weeks ago, right? They had this big same company, Minelab. My
Right.
gosh, just they started. Well, first they started throwing out hints, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like little mystery hints, right? What was the first one? Something about twos or something?
Comes. What is it? Comes better in twos or something like that. It's better when it
Yeah,
comes in twos.
things are better in
Yeah,
twos.
there you go.
Yeah, and that started all kinds of speculation.
Right. It was like a 30-second promo video, and it just seemed to come out of nowhere.
Yeah,
And then they said
and
December
you,
1st
yeah,
was
December
was their
1st.
their info they were going to release about it.
Yeah, and
And
everyone was speculating that maybe it
right,
was, was this, comes in twos? Well, what can comes in twos? Well, the CTX 3030 has two sets of
30
30 in
30.
it,
Right,
so
right.
3030 comes in twos. What else?
When you
I was
got
thinking, it could have been Manticore's little brother or something.
right,
I mean,
right.
Manticore Junior or something. If it comes in twos, and I know they're getting ready to release and ship the Manticore,
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't know. You released a cool video about it with your speculation.
I was wrong. First,
Yeah,
I'm admitting it right here live. I was wrong. I thought it was a an upgrade to the CTX 3030. That's what I thought it was,
yeah.
and I
Which
was wrong.
I think a lot of people would be very excited about that.
I believe that as well, especially with the technology coming from the Manicore. I thought they might
Yeah.
step up in that direction and bring that in, stuff up
Well,
there.
with the Manicore having the 2D display,
Yep.
that's I don't know how it's going to stack up against the 3030. But maybe that's why they haven't done that yet. Maybe they're like, oh, let's see how the Manticore does, and maybe it'll take people's taste away from wanting that 3030 upgrade, or revamping.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hey, Dave, good to see you, man. Welcome to chat. Glad you heard me talking about that and was able to get in here. Good to see you, Dave. He is from Eastern Pennsylvania. A
Awesome.
wonderful place to be. Would love to be out there right now.
There's another idea. Tim Ildigger just said he thought it was going to be the Blue Point. I'm sorry, Bluetooth pinpointer for the Manicore.
Oh, yeah, there you
That was
go.
my second idea.
Yeah,
Was it was going to be maybe a pinpointer?
because it better comes in twos. That
Yeah, there
means
you go.
things come better in twos. Yeah,
Paired it up with the Manicore.
yeah. Do you think how I do, Joe? Hollywood Joe just said he doesn't think the 3030 is coming. Is that because of what I said? Do you think that they're waiting to see how this Manticore performs and it kind of being the new iteration of the 3030 in a more
Mm-hmm.
modern set of technology? Let me know what you think, Joe. But they finally
Yeah,
came out and released it December 1st. You were there, I was there. We were trying to
yeah.
watch it. You went right on and kind of put out a video on it. Why don't you go ahead and tell us
Well,
what they announced, just in case people are listening and they haven't heard the news
yeah.
yet, which I can't imagine. But
They released an updated version of the Equinox line, and it's going to be the 700 and 900. So now they're going to have the 600, 800, and then kind of updating the 700 to 900. So there's a lot of great upgrades that they made for that.
yeah,
Um, a lot of great upgrades. I think my biggest issue though was they're already shipping. I mean, people already have their hands on this 700, 900. They made the announcement a week ago. People already have it. I'm still waiting on the Manicore.
yeah. Well, I mean, tell me about some of the comments you read on that video you released, because what has been give us the flavor,
I'll
good and bad, because I know it caused a little bit of an upheaval from people. People are
yeah.
like, what?
Yeah,
You know?
and I think people were saying, why not just continue that line of the 600, 800, make sure that we get the updates for it, maybe come out with some better coils or something to it. But they pretty much have. I mean, like Joe said right here in the chat, I believe the 600 and 800 are done. So it kind of really turned a lot of people off. I heard a lot of negative talk about that. They really changed the community with that series right there. I know it's been out for what, 4 years, almost 5 years now, and
Yeah.
it's been near the top, or if not the best detectors out there. People have really taken to it, and it's really been a game changer. I know that when you and I were our metal detecting out there with Beth, did she have a 600 or 800? I can't remember.
600. She
She
has
had the
600.
600.
Yep.
She was finding stuff that we couldn't even come across.
Yeah.
And that was my first exposure to it, and everybody that I've heard from believed wholeheartedly in that 800, everything that it did,
Right.
and it is a truly fantastic machine. But then they come out with the 700 and 900, and they've upped their game for sure. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie. They really, the things that they have done to improve that line are just absolutely incredible.
Yeah. They kind of reminded me of the A series, from Garrett, that they came out with the
Mm-hmm.
200, 250, 300, 450, 400. They just kept improving on it kind of for different kind of price point, different kind of level. And that's the difference,
Yeah.
in that Minelab, this isn't like a completely different, 700, 900 aren't, different price point. There are different price points, but they're not for different level of detectors. You know what I mean?
Right.
Both of them are still really great, mid-range detector, higher to the higher range detectors, for sure. It just, with the upgraded technology and upgraded fixes and different accoutrements, is that the word?
Yeah. Yeah.
I've
Well,
been
you're
waiting to
coming.
use
I
that
mean,
word. How's
the
that?
700 is going to come in at $699. So, still a fantastic price point for that. The
Yeah.
900 will be 1099. Little bit,
Yeah.
little bit of pushing that envelope a little bit.
Yeah.
But it is an upgrade. I know I was talking with Andy O'Neill,
Yeah.
and Andy was live on Facebook. I don't know, a couple days ago maybe, and he had said the things that we had talked about as well. Was, I think, the biggest change that Minelab really took into account was going to getting away from that what 40 digit VDI and going up to, what is it, 119 digits now or something like that.
Yeah. With some negatives and
Right.
positives. Yeah. So that
Incredible.
the low iron actually dips negative. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You remember that
Amazing.
first detector I had, that very
Uh
old,
huh.
old, old bounty hunter?
Yeah.
It had 199 VDI number.
199 VDI. I remember that. It blew
Yeah,
me away.
with an 8-inch concentric coil. And I'm telling you what, man, don't knock it till you try it. That was a pretty good machine. It was the bounty. It was the Time Ranger Pro, and I tell you what, it did a lot of things for being a cheap little metal detector, man. And you could, and, those large ranges were kind of cool because you could really kind of discern
Hmm.
between things really easy. I don't. I'm not a big fan of narrow
No,
VDI ranges. You know what I
I'm
mean?
not either.
And that's why the T2 is like a cool relic machine, because its mid range is a really healthy mid range series of VDI numbers, and a nice and healthy silver range too. You know, I'm not a big fan of the detectors that have a very narrow silver range, kind of like, you're within, like 10 digits of each other,
Hmm.
and you really got to, watch it pretty close. I think there's just too much room there for being fooled
There's a lot of
and
overlapping.
misdirection. Yeah, a lot of overlap there. So it'll be interesting to see what this does with those longer stretches of VDI range for sure.
Yeah, I'm really anxious to see that. I know people are, that may have been, say, the only or limited amount of complaints that they had about the 600 and 800 was that the shorter VDI range.
Hmm.
I don't know if that's Minelab just wanted to be different per se. Because you have Garrett, you've got, everybody else is using that 100 scale. Maybe they're trying to be a little bit different to stand out, but maybe there's enough complaints that they listened, and with the new machines, they're up to that. Well, even more than 100. They really
Yeah.
expanded it out. And I like how they did that too, having the negatives going down in the iron.
Yeah.
Um, Pretty cool
Well, I've
stuff.
I've been, for a while now, I've been in the market kind of trying to make my mind up if I want to buy
Hmm.
one of the new, upper end machines, that, more popular machines. I want to, I just don't know which way to go. I've been talking about it for a while. I bought the Simplex, and it sat in my car for a while. I took it to England. It was a great backup because my T2 wasn't waterproof. And so when it rained and snowed and hailed on me, I pulled that thing out and it kept me in the field.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I found my gold coin with it. So I mean, I like that little simplex. But yeah, I've been, we went to Oklahoma and Hollywood Joe here and Teresa. They let me use a
Yeah.
Legend. I was able to swing that for all weekend long and enjoyed that. You and I got to put our hands on the Manticore while we were there. I really like that 2D display and that
Mm-hmm.
whole system, how that works. Game changer, in my opinion. Um, but I never really swung an Equinox. I never really
Yeah.
put my hands on an Equinox yet. So my mom, Christmas is coming up. My wife's like, "So if you wanted to buy a metal detector, which one would you buy?" And I still can't give her an
You
answer. I still couldn't give her an
haven't
answer.
made a
I just don't
decision.
know. I
I,
just don't
I
know.
I know we had uh New Age Goonies Dwight
Yeah,
out for Rush to the Rockies, and we got a lot of exposure with the Legend being out there, and I really feel like at that time that was the direction I wanted to go. I really was ready to pull that trigger on that, and then the Manicore came out, and I was like, I don't know why, but something grabbed me on that.
yeah,
Well, I do know why. I got to swing it in Oklahoma.
yeah.
I mean that was insane.
That thin hammered dime was, that thin hammered Roman coin
Yep,
was
yeah,
bonkers.
paper thin on
Paper thin and
edge.
on edge, and it was sweet. It was singing, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
singing and showing you that you would dig it 100 times out of 100. But
yep, yep.
yeah, so I don't know. I don't know which way I'm going to go. I don't know. It's just crazy. The Deus is out there, Deus 2. Do I?
Phenomenal.
Yeah. When we were in Oklahoma, Teresa and Joe were just like,
Hmm.
how many detectors did you guys have with you? You had like 8 or 9 detectors with you sitting there against the wall. And of course, they both were going to swing Deus all weekend long. They're Deus 2. And, tearing it up, did a great job and found some good stuff. Teresa
Yeah.
found that miner's tag. And,
Hmm.
people are swearing by that machine left and right. And I
I
just,
I coming back from, I mean, going into Oklahoma, I had moved off the Legend and started really believing I was going to spend the money and get the Deus 2. And
yeah,
when I swung the Manicore for the same price point, I said that's where I'm going to head next. So
yeah. Well,
that's the
good,
way I
man.
went. Yeah,
Hopefully you'll have it, and then
we'll
maybe I'll
see.
wait and play with that for a little bit,
Yeah,
and then make my mind up which way I want to go.
yeah.
Yeah, uh, yeah. Shoot, but well, yeah. So some of the new
God, yeah.
changes with that the 700, 900.
Well, they
It's just,
changed.
yeah,
I mean, they changed. They came in with the carbon fiber shaft as standard.
yeah. That's cool.
The different cuff that we had seen on the Manicore, the different grip. Remember the grip?
Oh yeah, yeah. The
That
grip that kind
yeah.
of changes the balance a little bit. You can almost bounce it on your index finger.
Hmm.
It's got that little lip at the top, just underneath the head. That that was very different.
It
Normally
was
your
nice.
hand is using the headpiece as its stop point,
Hmm.
right? It's hand stop. Well, now they got this extra little piece onto the handle that kind of helps you keep control of it without putting as much pressure on that headpiece, which is cool. And those coil ears too. I mean, did they change up the coil ears, or did
They
they keep them the same?
so on the Manicore we saw that they had changed them, and
Right.
I thought that they had carried those over, but from what I've seen, they went back with the same ones only because the coils that are from the 600 and 800 interchangeable then with the 700 900, so
Yeah.
they really couldn't
Yeah.
change it.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Unfortunately, so that, I mean, it's a negative, but it's a positive. You can still use the same coils,
Right.
but you're still going to get those coils, which, from what everybody has been talking about, that's the the point. A lot of them have broken on
Hmm.
on those models. So I'm happy to see that they changed them on the Manicore, but they had to carry it over to the 700 and 900, just so
Yeah.
that can
Yeah.
interchange them. Yep,
Yep.
some
So
good
how long?
stuff.
Here's the. Should we start a pool? Do an
Yeah.
office pool? The Relics
Yes.
Radio group, Facebook group, office pool.
Sure.
How long of time? You guys answer in the chat too. Until they no longer offer the 600 and 800. Like when are you gonna start seeing those not
What's
available on the?
what's today?
12.8.
I tell you, since they made the announcement, I have seen a lot of 600 800s up for sale.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just don't
The
think
resale's going to
they're
be
not gonna
insane on
update
those.
it.
Yeah.
They're not gonna update it. They're not gonna offer new things to it. So
There's
I
really
know
no advantage to it, is there? I mean, who would
no.
go, I know a little bit. What are the price points like comparative? Like, I don't know what the 600 800s
Yeah,
are,
I
but
think they had dropped. I think they dropped it $100 on both of them again. So I think it's what is it? The 600 is it 599, and then I think the 800 is 799 or six something like that.
yeah. How does that compare with the 700 900?
Well, 699 for the 700, so
Yeah.
it's $100
So,
more, and
yeah.
then
So a little bit of a
1099.
price difference, but I don't think that's enough to sell.
No.
I don't think that's enough to sell the machines, the 600 and the 800, when the technology has moved up for another $100,
Yeah.
100, even $200 would be worth it to get the improvements.
Right. Yeah. Over in the
So,
chat, Hollywood Joe and Dave Cruikshank has they both said just till they sell out and whatever they're not going to create anymore. They've got the stock, and whenever they sell out of it, that's it.
gotcha.
So,
Yeah.
but I shoot, like I said, they got the 700 900 enough stock already to get them sold or shipped out and sold. People already have them. So this was. I tell you, I know Joe said he knew this. He knew this in Oklahoma that they were coming out with this. To me, it's been pretty good secret for them to have
Yeah.
to get
I
the
heard nothing
stock.
about it. And I'm not
I
bragging or
had
anything,
I
but
had talked with Joe.
we both keep our ears to
Yeah,
the grindstone
yeah,
in this hobby. And I heard no whiffs about it. So congratulations, Minelab. That was a good job.
they did well.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yep.
I didn't hear much about it at all. But yeah, I mean, I tell you what though, there's people that love their 800 and their 600, right?
Sure,
Zach
sure.
swings a 600.
Mm-hmm.
Our friend Zach and Beth, and you know, they'll just be like, look, finding plenty of stuff with my 800. Just going to keep swinging that thing. I mean, people still find plenty of stuff with the AT Pro, and
Right.
it's their favorite machine. And you swing what you know, and you swing what you find stuff with, and get your coil over it.
How
You
do
know,
you feel? This is something that I want to hear from everybody in the chat because this is what I thought about, and I'm also going to ask you. How do you feel about them? The big hoopla about the Manticore, the wait for it to get sent out, then they sneak the 700 900 in there. How does that make you feel?
well,
Was it what
you,
should there be a longer time between those kind of releases? Are they cutting their nose off to spite their face there and putting three machines out within a couple months of each other?
as a businessman,
Yeah,
I personally didn't think it was the best move, smartest move. I think, from a pure business profitability standpoint, and now things I don't know is I don't know about the logistics they were
sure.
dealing with. They probably were already manufacturing these things. They had already made that commitment and they knew Christmas was coming out. So they're like, offer three products instead of just one. And then after Christmas, with all the money it's spent, then we come out at some point mid year with the other two, and we got plenty of stock. At some point, they got to start selling off their stock and replenishing their investment.
Sure.
And Joe's right; it's all about the money. And I don't think it was anything nefarious, right? It's funny. I was on his radio show last night, and the host of the radio show was asking me about. We were talking about Forrest Fenn, and he was asking me about if it was a nefarious plot, And I know a lot of people like to, in any situation, I don't care what it is, a lot of people like to see the nefarious plot in everything, And I don't think that was Minelab's intent. I don't think they were out to try to, milk everybody for every dollar they had. I think it was just more of a supply and demand and what they had committed to. And it just so happened that they were going to have all this out. Now, Christmas coming, it was a big thing. They wanted to get all that out before Christmas.
I think that
because
is
that's
something
just
to
a
do
huge
with it.
shopping and huge time for any kind of retailer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I didn't think there was anything nefarious behind it.
I'll just tell you though. I mean, personally, I'm kind of put off a little bit by it because I know the 700 900 are a not they're a lower machine comparative to the Manticore, But that whole thing, and now I'm still sitting here waiting for the Manticore, and then all of a sudden 700, 900 come out, they're shipping, people already have them. So maybe I'm just butthurt like in that way. I'm still
Yeah.
waiting on this, this machine, and they sneak this other one underneath it.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what I'm trying to deal with here.
Right.
I
But
don't
it's
know.
like, it's they've got the Mercedes S class or something, and
Sure.
they've always had the S class, and then they decided to come out with an S-2 class, which is basically the S class with just a bunch of extra arm cuffs and leather coating on the inside or
More cup
whatever, maybe
holders.
a couple more horsepower and stuff. But then they come out with this Mercedes, Excalibur Z, Ultra car that is just something completely different. And
Right.
it's going to take them a while to produce that and get it into your hands. Whereas if they're just making some interior finishes and exterior finishes, changes and a little bit, I
That's
mean,
true.
but you're
A little
right. The
bit
people that
easier.
don't have the Manticore in their hands yet, I'm sure, are absolutely chomping at the bit. And, you know,
Yeah,
it would be great to have that in our
it'll
hands
be
by
here.
now.
I mean, I'm just anxious because I know we're going to England, and I want to get my hands on. Like I said, I've already hung everything else up. I want to get that Manicore and try and find somewhere to put in some time before we go to England. So maybe that's what I'm struggling with as well. It sounds like all personal problems, right? First world problems. I don't have a 60. I don't have my $1,600 metal detector here yet. I'm
Wah,
pissed.
wah,
Yeah, right. Exactly. Some cheese with that wine.
wah. Call you a
Maybe
ambulance.
that's what it is, huh?
I'd be in the same boat, dude.
I'm anxious.
If I decided to pull the cord on the Manticore, I'd be pulling my hair out. I'm sure. I wouldn't be as flippant about it, but I can
That's
give you
right.
a bad time about it. We're buddies.
Absolutely.